Hey, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're not already. Not sure what's wrong with you. If you're not subscribed to Uncle Lou, like you're supposed to be. Remember to watch Uncle Lou videos every day too. Make you smarter and lower your cholesterol. Initial thoughts on this national title game, national championship game. I did this same sort of thing when the semifinals were announced. Georgia versus Oklahoma, Clemson versus Alabama. Did sort of just a initial thoughts type of thing without doing a whole bunch of research. So this video won't be filled with stats or anything like that. This is just my initial thoughts on this matchup from having watched these two teams play all year long, okay? First of all, I'll start here. This is the matchup Uncle Lou has wanted from the very beginning. It's just happening a little bit later than I expected it to. I've assumed, wrongly, that Alabama was going to win the West and we would get to face them in Atlanta in the SEC championship game. Well, turns out we are facing them in Atlanta, but it's in the national title game. So Uncle Lou has been expecting this game and waiting for this game for a long time, for the majority of the season, to be honest. It was pretty clear to anybody with any football IQ at all that Georgia was clearly the best team in the East this year. That was obvious after about 2 or 3 weeks of games. I mean, by the end of September, if you didn't know Georgia was winning the East, then you just don't know football, or your hate for UGA or Uncle Lou has just completely blinded you. Now, the West, I assumed Alabama was going to win it. I mean, let's just be honest. Everybody assumes Alabama's going to win the West every year. Auburn didn't look too good the first half of the season. Their offense was shaky at best, struggled against Clemson and took a loss, and then the unexplainable loss to LSU. But they did get hot at the end of the year, ended up winning the West. So we're getting Alabama a little bit later than most people expected. But this is, let's just be real. Yeah, there's some people that are butthurt that it's two SEC teams in the national title game. But this is the matchup people want to see. This is the matchup people have been waiting to see. This is the game that people want to see. And we're going to get to see it in about 5 days from now, Monday night. So my initial thoughts on this game. Well, if you've been watching Uncle Lou all season long like you're supposed to, then you already know some of my thoughts in terms of Alabama. I'm not impressed with Jalen Hurts at all as a quarterback. Not one single bit. I have no concern at all of losing this game to Alabama because Jalen Hurts beats us passing the ball. I have absolutely zero concern. Way more concerned, obviously, about Oklahoma's passing game than anything we're ever going to see out of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is not even a quarterback. He's a running back. And yeah, he's probably like the 6th or 7th best running back in the SEC. He's a good running back, but he doesn't play running back. He plays quarterback. Now, that's worked out well for Alabama against some inferior teams where they've been able to dominate them up front on the lines of scrimmage and pound the ball down their throat. That's not happening against UGA, in my opinion. I'm not saying Alabama can't run the ball on UGA. I think Alabama will have some success running the ball, but it's not going to come as easy as it's come against some of these other scrub teams they've played. Even if you want to look at the Clemson game, which has a pretty good front seven, it's not like Alabama moved the ball up and down the field on Clemson. They didn't. If you watch that game, yeah, they won fairly easily, 24-6. They had one defensive touchdown, right? Did he score on that interception, that lineman? I think he did. I don't remember. No, I don't think he scored. But anyway, they got points off of a turnover. He didn't score, but he did intercept the ball, which set up a touchdown, which he also scored. Hats off to that guy. Much as I hate Alabama, I love seeing a big defensive lineman catch a touchdown pass, so that was pretty cool to see. But anyway, yeah, I mean, they'll have some success running the ball, but they're not moving up and down the field. If anyone's watching this game expecting to see anything like what they saw in the Georgia-Oklahoma game, then you're going to be very, very disappointed. This will not be a 50-something to 40-something game. I mean, you can just forget that. Another thing I'll say, initial thoughts. You're hearing a lot of Georgia's defense was overrated, got exposed against Oklahoma. Listen, Alabama fans can deny this if they want to, although they don't really have a leg to stand on. But I'm sure that's going to be an argument Alabama fans make. Oh, y'all got lit up by Oklahoma, gave up 40-some point, whatever it was. Listen, SEC defenses, particularly Auburn, Georgia, and Alabama, are built to stop the other two of those three teams. In other words, if you're Alabama, your defense is built to stop Georgia and Auburn. If you're Auburn, your defense is built to stop Georgia and Alabama. SEC defenses aren't built to stop spread five-wide offenses like they run in the Big 12 against Oklahoma. The reason I know Alabama fans know that, even though they may not admit it this week when they're trash talking, is because Alabama's defense did not stop Oklahoma the last time they played. And yes, I know that other years don't impact this year, but it helps to make this one specific point. Just because UJ's defense got lit up in the first half against Oklahoma is no indication of what Georgia's defense can or can't do against Alabama in this national title game. It's going to be a completely different type of game. And anybody, like I said, anybody with any amount of football IQ already understands that. This is most likely going to be a low-scoring game, probably half of what you saw in Georgia, Oklahoma. If any team in this game can get to 30 points, they're most likely going to win this game, in my opinion. And I think it's unlikely, really, that either team gets there. I think this will be a game that's decided in the 20s. Now, Georgia offensively, Bama will be the best defense we've played. Now, Auburn is pretty close, and the argument can be made that Auburn's defense is better than Alabama's defense, although I tend to think that Alabama's defense is a little bit better. Not to take anything away from Auburn, they had a great defense, but I mean, you're really separating here, by little tiny differences when it comes to the defenses of Auburn, Alabama, and UGA. I mean, you're talking about 3 top 10 defenses here. So I don't expect either team to just run up and down the field like what you saw in the Rose Bowl. It'll be more like what you saw in the Sugar Bowl. You're going to have to fight, scratch, and claw for every first down you get in this game, and that goes for both teams, I think. Will Alabama have an advantage in the trenches in this game? Maybe a little bit. I'm just going to be honest about it. Georgia's offensive line has played really, really well this year. Exceeded expectations by a gazillion, really, especially after what we saw last year from Georgia's offensive line. A breath of fresh air this year to see Georgia's offensive line push some defenses around. Not very many offensive lines over the last 10 years have pushed Alabama's defensive front around, and I don't expect Georgia to either. I do think Georgia will get some yards on the ground. I do think Chubb and Michelle will have some success running the ball. Now, you're probably going to see a lot of 1- and 2-yard gains and a lot of 1- and 2-yard losses. So which team can break the big play, the big run, right? I mean, you may have 10 or 15 carries in a row where you're scrapping for 2 or 3 yards. Which team can break that run and turn a 2-yard loss or a 2-yard gain into a 30, 40, or 50-yard gain or touchdown? That could be one of the keys to this game, big plays. As bad as Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback, which he's terrible, he's not even average. He's way below average when it comes to throwing the ball. 1, 2, 3. Turn it up! Alabama does get some big plays out of him, especially when he scrambles around and hits Ridley. Now, if we can take Ridley out of the game, I don't think Alabama will have any answers at all passing the ball. If you look at Alabama's passing offense, something like 70% of the catches go to Ridley. I mean, he's got over twice as many catches as the second highest guy. I think the second highest receiver on their team, I believe, has 14 or 15 catches this year. Like I said, I didn't study any stats before I did this video, so this is just information off the top of my head. I think I heard that, though, during the Alabama-Clemson game, that their second leading receiver had 14 or 15 catches this year. So if we can lock Ridley down, take him out of the game, and we've got some good cover corners. Dom Sanders, safety. I mean, if we have to double him, whatever we have to do, I think that will probably be part of Georgia's game plan, will be to take Ridley out of the game. Now, can you shut him down the whole game? Probably not, especially on those plays where Hurts gets loose. Maybe dodges a sack in the pocket, scrambles to the outside. It becomes really, really hard to cover these receivers, for 7, 8, 9 seconds at a time while Hurts is running around. So that'll be part 2 of the plan, I think, for Georgia, is to have some sort of a spy. Probably Roquan Smith. He's done that several times this year against teams that have running quarterbacks. I'm thinking of Mississippi State, Notre Dame, even Baker Mayfield. We had Roquan as a spy on him a lot of the time during the Rose Bowl game. So I think you'll see something similar to that in terms of Georgia trying to defend Alabama's offense. Obviously, they've got some stud running backs and a stud offensive line. So our front four, front seven really is going to have to play the best game they've played all year. Now, they've played good all year. Georgia's been stout against the run this year. I don't expect anything different against Alabama. I think they'll get their yards, but I don't think they're just going to run down Georgia's throat. Flip the thing around, you look at Georgia's offense against Alabama. I think we're probably going to have to pass the ball to win this game. I do think we'll have some success running the ball, but like I said, neither team just going to line up and run the ball down the other team's throat. So Fromm has been excellent this year on first down passes and play action. I've been saying this a lot over the last couple of months, but Fromm is at his best, and really any quarterback is at his best when they're throwing because they want to, not because they have to. So, I mean, I'm stating some obvious things here, but stay out of third and long, right? No negative plays on first down. Even if you're only gaining 2 or 3 yards on first down, that's infinitely better than no gain or a 1 or 2 yard loss, right? Not just for the 1 or 2 yards that you're gaining, but because you're putting yourself at 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, as opposed to 3rd and 10 or 2nd and 10 and 2nd and 12, which is totally different, especially for Georgia's style of offense. Injuries. It looked like Alabama got pretty healthy in that month they had off leading up to the Sugar Bowl, but they did take a couple of bad injuries in that game. I hope those guys are able to play, but from what I heard yesterday, and I haven't looked this morning, from what I heard yesterday, it looks like one of them is definitely out, and the second one is maybe 50-50 at best. And I hate that. I really do. Obviously, I want Georgia to win this game, but injuries can really derail a team. And we saw some of that in the Auburn-Alabama game. Now, they're not nearly as banged up for this game as they were heading into the Iron Bowl. So if Georgia wins, I don't expect Alabama to use injuries, as an excuse. But anytime you're losing somebody, of course, that's going to have some kind of effect on you in a negative way. Georgia, pretty healthy. Other than Natrez Patrick, all of our starters and key contributors should be good to go for this game. No injuries coming out of the Rose Bowl, nothing major anyway. I'm sure some people are nicked up, banged up, bruised, sore, that kind of thing, but nothing that should keep anybody out of this game. So both teams heading into this game pretty healthy here, and it's going to be a hell of a game. I don't think I don't think this is going to be a blowout either way. Obviously, I'm going to pick UGA to win, and I'll make a more detailed video later in the week and give a score prediction and things like that. Coaching matchup. I love Kirby Smart, but you got to give the coaching advantage to Nick Saban here, right? Everybody knows his record against former assistants. What is it, 11-0 now? Now, yeah, some of those assistants were just terrible and god-awful and had god-awful teams, but still, 11-0 against his former assistants. You're going to hear that stat a million times this week. I don't think that the fact that he's 11-0 against his former assistants means that Alabama's automatically winning this game just because Kirby Smart is a former Nick Saban assistant. I don't believe that at all. But I do think you got to give the coaching advantage here to Nick Saban. I mean, he's just been around a long, long time. He's got a ton of experience in these types of games, and that goes for the players too. Right? Other than true freshmen on Alabama's team, everybody else on that team has played in multiple playoff games and multiple national title games. Not a single soul on the UGA's team that's ever played in a game of this magnitude. They handled it pretty well last week. We'll see how they handle an even bigger stage this week. Now, Kirby will know how to prepare for this game because he's prepared for a ton of these games at Alabama under Nick Saban. So Kirby will know how to prepare, but you never know how the kids are going to respond in a situation like this. Home field advantage. I'm not buying into that. I don't think Georgia has a home field advantage here. I think it's great that we don't have to travel 5,000 miles again to play a game. I think that's an advantage. But as far as the game being in Atlanta, I don't consider that to be a home field advantage for UGA. It's not like Alabama is 5,000 miles away or 3,000 or whatever. It's a couple-hour drive, 3 or 4 at the most, depending on where you live in Alabama, to get to this game. And I've listened to Alabama fans for the last 10 years tell me that Atlanta is their home away from home. So I don't want to hear anything from Alabama fans about how Georgia has any type of home field advantage in this game. That's just not true. Really looking forward to this game. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a fun week here on YouTube, that's for sure. I'm going to do a live stream tonight. I'll do the NCAA 2014 simulation on the Xbox tonight, and we'll talk about this game some during that stream. If you're new to the channel, I have the Xbox 360 hooked up out here, and we do simulations on there from time to time. I've got completely updated rosters for every team, so we can simulate the game Alabama versus Georgia with all the current 2017 rosters. And we may even do it more than once this week. We did a bunch of games, a bunch of the bowl games over the last few weeks, and we'll do Alabama, Georgia tonight. Of course, I'll be Georgia. Maybe we'll do another one later in the week, and I'll play as Alabama, just so we're fair and we're doing it one of each. So anyway, but that's the plan for tonight. There'll be at least 2 videos every day this week. I'm not going to do another regular video today since we're doing the live stream tonight, so this will be the only regular video for today. But anyway, very excited about this game. Obviously, been a long time coming for UGA, Georgia fans in Dog Nation. And we're all excited. And yeah, it never gets old, I'm sure. So even though Alabama fans have been here a ton over the last decade, I'm sure they're just as excited as UGA is to be in this game. Looking forward to a fun week here on LouTube, arguing with some of you gumps. And obviously looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a war and be a really good game. So I will see you guys tonight on the live stream. Have a great day and an even better morning, too. Beep, 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 beep.